Hello everyone, and welcome back to our ADHD series. Today we will be talking about how coffee affects those with ADHD, including kids. Our daily life is marked by the presence of routines that help us to stay focused on our activities. Although culture and habits strongly influence a person's routine, making or consuming coffee each morning is a part of billions of people's daily routines. Coffee is a beverage produced from the roasted beans of the coffee tree. There is strong evidence that the fruit originates from Africa, more specifically from the highlands of Ethiopia. It was taken from Africa to the Arab regions, where it was considered a miraculous drink due to its use in medicine at the time. Legend has it that it was an Ethiopian shepherd who noticed something different about the plants in the region. Having fed the animals reddish-yellow fruit, bushes, and foliage, he noticed the animals became more energetic as a result. Intrigued by the behavior of his goats, he took a sample of the plant to a monk. From there, an infusion with plants and fruits was prepared, and it was found that when consumed, the drink can cause agitation. Records claim that coffee consumption began around 575 AD. At that time, the Ethiopians fed on the fruit. Coffee has a very important active compound, caffeine. It is responsible for most of the beneficial effects of the drink. It stimulates the central nervous system, increases focus and good mood, stimulates breathing, improves digestion, and is an antioxidant. Research points out that 1 cup of coffee can decrease migraine symptoms. Still, other studies say that drinking coffee daily in a regular amount prevents diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. As previously exposed in our collection of videos related to ADHD, ADHD is a psychiatric condition whose number of diagnoses has grown rapidly over the last 20 years. The disorder has a higher prevalence in children, and its diagnosis in adults is more complex and slower. Treatment varies between patients, but may involve medications and non-pharmacological measures such as cognitive behavioral therapy. The therapeutic arsenal to alleviate ADHD is limited, and there is some controversy surrounding the use of some types of medication and stimulants, especially in childhood and adolescence. Which is why it is useful to study the effectiveness of other substances such as caffeine. There is a rising tendency among persons with ADHD to use energy drinks and caffeinated beverages to increase cognitive function. This practice is widespread and it's quickly becoming a habit. The impact of illicit drugs, including energy drinks and other caffeinated substances, on the symptomatology and severity of ADHD is currently under study. The lack of evidence is surprising given that the use of these products has grown steadily over the world over the last decades. These drinks advertise aid in weight loss and increased energy and performance. Small amounts of caffeine can benefit some people with ADHD, including some research suggesting that it can boost concentration levels. However, caffeine can intensify the effects of certain ADHD medications, including any adverse reactions a person may experience. Additionally, adults with ADHD should limit their caffeine intake, especially if they are taking ADHD medications. There is also a relationship between sugar consumption and hyperactivity in children with ADHD. While some studies indicate a link between high consumption of sugar and soft drinks with a higher prevalence of ADHD diagnosis, other research finds no connection. It is well known that caffeine can benefit some people with ADHD, and research suggests that it can boost concentration levels in most individuals due to the composition of caffeine. However, caffeine has its drawbacks. In some cases, it can intensify the effects of specific ADHD medications, leading to adverse reactions. Studies have shown that caffeine use combined with physical activity during maturity and youth enhance working memory, non-associative learning, spatial learning, and memory retention. Scientists studying caffeine's impact on ADHD have found that caffeine's effects mimic the effects of other stimulants commonly used to treat attention deficit disorders. Research suggests that caffeine appears to work particularly well in children with ADHD and may even mask adult symptoms in some individuals. The side effects of caffeine treatments are also less severe than other medications used to treat this condition. Given the well-known advantages of caffeine and its derivatives for working memory, alertness, and cognitive performance in general, some authors recommend modest doses of coffee as a complement to prescription stimulants for children with ADHD. As a natural stimulant, caffeine increases alertness in most people. These increases serve to balance the effects of ADHD on those affected by it and work to restore levels of attention commonly lost as a result of the disorder. Negative side effects associated with caffeine withdrawal include headache, irritability, body tremors, ulcers, heart palpitations, and fatigue. Caffeine does not reduce hyperactivity. Instead, caffeine only seems to help boost alertness levels, while other treatments may still be needed to deal with hyperactivity and issues related to poor impulse control. Therefore, the use of caffeine is an adjuvant and a promising treatment tool to implement the efficacy of currently prescribed stimulants. Despite the encouraging evidence of caffeine's effects on ADHD, many parents are hesitant to provide it to their children due to the risk of addiction. However, there are some worries concerning the negative effects of popular drugs used to treat attention issues. These drugs may cause irritability and sleep difficulties. Coffee consumption is contraindicated for children younger than 2 years old. Therefore, it should not be offered to children up to that age. From the age of 2, the child can taste the drink, but its consumption should ideally be restricted, not exceeding half a cup per day. Upon reaching 6 years of age, the amount can be increased, raising the maximum dose of daily consumption to 1 cup. When offering coffee to the child, it is always important that it is preferably strained and mixed with milk in a proportion where there is more milk than coffee. It is also beneficial to avoid the use of sugar or sweeteners as much as possible. The lack of sugar also diminishes the possibility of addiction. Another option is offering decaffeinated coffee for children. In decaffeinated coffee, as the name implies, there is a reduction in caffeine, a stimulating chemical component. Decaffeinated coffee has an aroma, texture, and flavor similar to the regular coffee, only differing in the amount of caffeine, with up to 98% less of the component in its composition. Regardless of the positive or negative effects, caffeine can't be used to cure ADHD, but it does amplify therapeutic effects. It is a possible adjuvant pharmacological strategy for the treatment of ADHD symptoms, and it is certainly a much more pleasant pill to swallow. If you're interested in this content, check the other videos on our channel. Subscribe and let me know in the comments how many cups of coffee you have per day and how it makes you feel.